everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rebecca. Lovely to meet you. If this is your first time coming to my channel, I'm really glad that you're here. I guess you're here for this video, which is my 15-week pregnancy update video. I am at 15 weeks already. I'm into my second trimester and it has literally flown by so quickly. I am so busy as it is. I am a mum of 4 already, and I'm going to be a mum again. I am 41 years old, so I'm a bit of an older mum. I love being a mum, and this baby, this pregnancy is a complete surprise. Well, was a complete surprise, but it was the best surprise. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. So yes, anyway, do you know, I always waffle on. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll kind of get used to this. I just go off on a tangent sometimes and just waffle on. Anyway, I've just done it again. Right, so I have got a 17-year-old daughter. I have got 2.5-year-old twins and a 15-month-old, I want to say baby, but I don't know if he's a baby anymore or if he is now a toddler, even though he's toddling around. What is it, baby or toddler? And I'm pregnant again, and like I said, I'm 15 weeks into my pregnancy, so there's not going to be much of a gap between all of them. Okay, so I always start off by saying how my week has been symptom wise. I know we're not symptom spotting for pregnancy anymore or anything like that, but the news is still really good. I'm still feeling good. It took a while for me to start feeling good because my first trimester was pretty awful for me. I was never sick, but the nausea was horrible. I went off food. Obviously I was still eating, but yeah, I went off food and it was just nasty. But anyway, that has kind of subsided. Also, my fatigue is nowhere near as bad as it used to be. I still get quite tired, especially in the afternoons, because I'm just so busy during the day with the little ones. But that is something that I have gotten used to, obviously, because I've had them for a while now. But being pregnant and being a mum of toddlers and a baby is it is simply hard work. So if you're a mum that's pregnant right now and you have little ones to look after, even big ones, I mean, they're just as much of a handful, aren't they? Then I really do sympathize with you, because it is hard work. And also, if this is your first baby, the tiredness can really take it out of you, and I am here for you, seriously. I know how you feel. I have been there. I was once a first time mum, long time ago. I was 24 when I had my eldest, my daughter, and she's now 17. So yeah, I feel like I've done every kind of, not everything, but you know, I was a mum, a young mum at 24. I'm now 41 and I'm having another baby, but it's all good. Anyway, so I'm loving food. I really could eat for England. Goodness me, I love eating fruit. It's great because my little ones are very much eating fruit at the minute, so they're very much into wanting to eat that. So there's always so much fruit, so we're eating fruit. I'm loving yogurts. I don't know what it is about dairy things at the moment. I feel like I need dairy. I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not a vegan, so I'm a vegetarian, but my body craves fresh fruit, fresh veg, dairy. It's great. Really enjoying dinner times, lunch times, breakfast times, snack times, all the snack times, midnight snack times, because I am finding myself needing to eat in the middle of the night, which is totally fine. I mean, I get up, I go and get myself a glass of milk and I will have whatever snack I fancy, usually a satsuma and a yogurt, cereal bar, some cereal. So if you watched my last video, my 14-week pregnancy update video, you may remember me talking about my 12-week screening results that I got back. It was a bit of a sensitive subject, so I will put a quick warning out right now. What I'm going to talk about is a sensitive subject. It's to do with screening tests, screening results, possible issues in pregnancy. So I just wanted to just say that in case you didn't want to watch anymore. I don't want to upset anybody. The reason why I'm talking about this is because I want to be as open as possible in this pregnancy, and I also feel like it's very relevant. I'm an older mum, so risks usually are higher, but that's not to say that risks can't happen at any point during anyone's pregnancy, because it can, as I have been told by the professionals recently. I had some results through the post of I think they call them the Trisomy. So the tests I had done for this pregnancy was a blood test that they take. Obviously they take my blood and they can analyse my maternal blood, and I'm pretty sure they pick up the baby as well. They measure the fold at the back of the baby's neck during my 12-week scan. They also factor in other things like my age, my BMI, how healthy I am, how you conceived. There is so much. When I say how you conceived, I think they mean, you know, did I need any help or not? I think that's what they mean. So they take all of that, they put it in the computer, it comes up with a calculation, and then they either ring you up if you're at high risk, or they'll send you a letter in the post if you're at low risk. Well, I had a letter in the post, which would mean I am of a low risk, but we are low risk for Edwards syndrome and Patau syndrome. But with Down syndrome, we aren't in the high risk category, but we are pretty close to the number of the cutoff point. Now, in my last video, I was saying that I'm thinking about doing a bit of further investigation, if at all possible, to see whether or not this little one does have Down syndrome or not. Not that it would change our outlook on this baby. We would still continue with the pregnancy. It would be purely so we would be more prepared for when the baby comes along. That is it. I said in my last video that I will be seeing my midwife this week. It's supposed to be my 16-week pregnancy check with the midwife, but it actually fell in my 15th week. So I have been and seen my midwife, and I had a good old long chat with her. She had a look at the results, and she doesn't seem overly worried, because it's always a 1 in such and such amount of numbers. So, I mean, even if you had a 1 in 2 chance, it's still 50-50. So I guess they always look at it like that. They always look on the more positive, the more brighter side of the test results. But when it's your own baby, and when you're the parent, you want to know. Well, some people do. We do. We would like to know. It's not just, oh, okay, whatever, because we wouldn't be discussing it in the first place. What she did say was, if I contacted our local hospital, our big hospital, because obviously I see my community midwife, and then I have other care, scans and everything at a different hospital. Now, if I contact the hospital, I may be able to have further testing. So I spoke to the hospital, and they said they wouldn't offer further testing, which would involve an amniocentesis and another procedure, which I think is where they take a little piece of placenta somehow and test it, because I don't fall into the high risk category, because I'm just, the other side of the cutoff point, which is a bit of a shame. It'd be nice if there was a bit of middle ground where people could just go, do you know, actually I think I might, but it doesn't. There's another option of having a blood test done, which is a non-invasive test. I think it's called NIPT, something like that. Non-invasive prenatal testing or something like that. I think there's some brands out there. One of them's called Harmony. So it's that test, if you've ever heard of it. Different places offer you a particular test, usually with a different name because it's a different type of brand. But my local hospital, or the big one, was saying that they can do it, but they have to charge. I'm thinking about that one. I spoke to my midwife again, and because I'm having... Now, this is completely different to what I'm talking about with this testing. This is obviously still part of my pregnancy, but if I'm just going to open up properly and fully, I might as well just open up that can and all the worms can come spilling out. Okay, so being completely honest here, cards on the table. I had my last 2 pregnancies, the one with my 15-month-old and the pregnancy before with my twins. Both of my births with them were pretty traumatic for me. I struggle with it even now, just thinking about them, talking about them. Sometimes I find it helps discussing what went on in those 2 births and what transpired afterwards. Sometimes I find that helpful to talk with my partner Reese about it, and other times I think about it, it really does just make me cry, and I really struggle with processing everything. I know everybody has a different birth. We all have different births, and everybody deals with things differently. I really do struggle with these 2 births. So I've got one coming up, obviously with this baby. Little while away yet, but it's still gonna have to happen. Now, with my previous 2 births, they were both a cesarean. With the twins, it was an elective cesarean, so I had no choice. I had to have a cesarean. With my last baby, with George, it was an emergency cesarean. Now, I was going for a VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after cesarean, and things did not go the way we planned at all in the slightest. I think that is going to be a whole separate video because there's an awful lot to talk about, and I know this is my 15-week pregnancy update, so I'm just trying to keep this as brief as possible. So things didn't go as planned with that birth, and it ended up in a emergency cesarean section, which was really scary, and it is not something I think it was probably preventable. As I said, there's a lot that went on, which I will talk about probably in a separate video. Do you know, actually, I think I am going to make a separate video about this because I think it will be beneficial for other mums looking to do a VBAC, but just other people in general, because as I said, no 2 pregnancies are the same. So it is interesting to hear about people's pregnancies, not just pregnancies, birth stories, I guess. I want to avoid what happened with George happening again with this pregnancy, but I mean, this might be quite controversial, me speaking about this, but I would like to try for another vaginal birth again, which is a VBAC 2. So that is a vaginal birth after 2 cesareans. Now, taking into account my age, so far, what I have been told, it doesn't sound like it's likely. But I have spoken to my midwife, who has put me in contact with this lovely lady who's also a midwife, but she's a different part of the midwifery section, who is more of an advocate for me and will try and help me get the birth that I'm looking for. I don't know how to describe her. She's just lovely. Anyway, she is making an appointment for me to see a consultant over at the big hospital where we can sit down and have a good old chat and talk about my hopes and dreams for this baby's birth and see what this consultant says. So we're going to have a chat. She's coming along, this midwife, she's coming along with me and Reese, so that's going to be really good and really supportive. So we're going to have a chat about what I hope to happen and see what they say. I am under no illusions that it might not go my way. They might say, what are you doing? This is not safe. I am under absolutely no illusions that they might say, stop there, missus. No, you can't do this. It's too dangerous. You've already had 2 cesareans. What are you thinking? You know, they might say something like that to me. I really hope that they don't, because, oh my God, I'm one of these women where I don't know, I just want to do it vaginally. There's nothing wrong in that. I had the twins where there was an elective cesarean and it was really taken out of my hands, and I was completely fine with that. I was like, okay, let's be safe here. Okay, this needs to happen. Fine, let's do it. And then I was pregnant with George and they said to me, of course you can try for a VBAC, no problem. And then all of that was taken out of my control. And then George ended up being born by emergency cesarean. And now I'm here and hoping to have a VBAC again, and things are a little bit different now. I'm a bit older, 2 cesareans under my belt. It does change everything, but I've been doing a lot of research myself. I've been talking to my lovely midwife. This is a lot that I'm unloading here. I feel like this is an awful lot for my 15-week update. So I hope you don't mind, but this just, I guess it's what's going on in my 15th week, isn't it? It's my update of my 15th week. This is what's happening. But yeah, I can understand if you do think that it's a lot, but it's obviously relevant to my pregnancy. But, and I'm also glad that I'm talking about it. A little bit of therapy here for me as well. Yeah, I do get quite upset when I think about my last birth, but everything turned out fine in the end. Obviously George is fine. So the meeting with my consultant is going to be around the 16-week mark, I believe. I'm 16 weeks very soon because I'm doing my 15-week update now. I don't know if they're going to get me a letter out real quick or if it's going to carry on into like week 17 or something. It doesn't really matter. As long as it's around then, they said that they want to start putting things in place, which is more for my mental health, really. So I've got something like a plan. I've got a plan that I can work towards. I've had a discussion with a consultant who hopefully will be in some kind of agreement with me. If he's not, then obviously I need to hear all the facts and then I can deal with that and process things in a way which won't make me feel like everything's out of my control again. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, sorry, that did get a little bit deep, didn't it? And then at the same time, while I'm at the hospital, I will speak to them about the test results and see what they say then as well. So there's a lot going on. That is a motorbike, very loud if you heard that. There is an awful lot going on. My brain sometimes feel like it's going to go bang, especially with our dog's not been too well, having to deal with that. Obviously got the 3 little ones, got this pregnancy, got birth and the results that I've had, and I just want to get everything, just want all my ducks in a row basically. I just like a little bit of calm for just a few days or for a week. That would be really nice. So let's move on from that and let's talk about what the baby may be doing. Okay, let's have a look on my trusty app, the Baby Centre app. If you haven't got it already, download it because I promise you, you won't regret downloading it. I am not at all being paid to say about the baby centre. I genuinely really like this app, so go download the baby centre app. Right, so I've just got the app up and this is really cute. The baby is measuring from its little head to its bum, 10.1 centimetres long now. That is from the week of 15. So it's obviously going to grow a tiny little bit every day from then. On average, it's going to be about 10.1 centimetres long, which is actually quite big when you think about it. And then you've got its little arms and legs sticking out as well, so that's making it a little bit longer. And fruit wise, it is the size of an apple. So next time you pick an apple up, you can put it next to your tummy and go, ah, that's how big my baby is. I am just going to show you on here what it looks like inside you. I absolutely, see if I can zoom in, I absolutely love looking at these because then it helps me imagine what my baby is doing right now inside me. So can you see? It actually looks quite big, doesn't it? That is an apple-sized baby. I'm actually thinking, oh, I look so bloated, I look so bloated. Do you know, I actually think that's starting to pass now. And I might just be, you know, baby bumping it there already. It's not just bloat, it is a bit of bloat. Let's face it. Oh, because I didn't mention, did I? Constipation still. Oh, I think I mention this every single video. I know it's TMI, but you know, we got to talk about it because that's what's going on. But yeah, bit of constipation still. Actually, it's not a bit, it's ridiculous. And bloating. There we go. Don't worry about it. It's all completely normal. And if you're at all worried, go and speak to your midwife or your GP. Don't ever sit there worrying about things, because worrying, I mean, I have to tell this to myself a lot of the time. Worrying does nobody any good. It doesn't change anything, doesn't make anything better. It just, actually no, it probably does change things. It makes things worse and it makes you worry more. So nobody needs that. So if you have any worries or any concerns, please just go and talk to your midwife or your doctor. That is what they are there for. Like, I have been talking to my midwife about my concerns and they listen, and she took it on board, and we're going to do something about it, about the concerns about my test results and concerns about my upcoming birth. Anyway, like I said, I go off tangent a little bit, but I do think that it's worth mentioning that as well. Right, just having a little look at the app, and it says 15 weeks. Oh my goodness. Baby is inhaling and exhaling the amniotic fluid that it's in, which is going to help their respiratory system to mature. I think that's huge. They're practicing breathing at 15 weeks. That is amazing. 15 weeks. It wasn't that long ago that it was literally tiny speck, like a seed. And now it's practicing breathing. What a miracle. And another thing that I really like is from this week, your baby can most probably hear your tummy gurgling, little noises inside your body, and it might even hear your voice. It's like a real muffled sound. Obviously they can't make things out yet, but yeah, they can hear your tummy gurgling, they can hear your voice. I'm just starting to think now, because they do say about playing music. I'm wondering if you could maybe put some music on your phone and put that up against your stomach, if they can start hearing music. I might actually start doing that. I do know they say babies, it's further on in your pregnancy, I'm not sure how further on, but I know babies recognize music. If you play something a lot, something, you know, a song that you really like, your baby will start to recognize it and they may even jump in time. I have heard of that, and I know that they say to start reading to your baby as well early on. Also, just popped into my head, if you start playing I say in playing songs, if you start playing nursery rhymes and things like that, when they're born and if they're upset or distressed about something, they say to play that nursery rhyme and the baby recognises it and it calms them down. That is a great hack. Oh my goodness. Why didn't I think of that one in my last pregnancy? Never mind. Great hack. I am going to remind myself to do that. I think it's the same with reading a story as well. They start to get used to the pattern of your voice telling a story. But the music, definitely, especially at bedtime when you're trying to get them to sleep. I was hoping that we would be able to start feeling baby, but apparently that is between, well, it's not apparently, I think it's an actual fact, it's between about week 16 and week 24 that you would start to feel your baby move for the first time. Now they give you such a big gap because if you're a first time parent and you haven't experienced a baby moving inside you before, then you may not notice it moving. You might mistake it for other things like wind or I don't know what else there would be, but that would be further on into your pregnancy. You would then recognize, oh, that's actually my baby moving. If you've experienced this before and you felt a baby move inside you before, you might notice those signs earlier. So I'm hoping that 16, 17 weeks, I can start recognizing it wiggling about. That's it. I'm going to wrap this one up. That is my 15-week pregnancy update. I have waffled on a lot again, so. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, if you did, please obviously give it a great big thumbs up for me. And if you haven't already, I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel. I really would like to make my channel grow and have a nice support network of expectant mothers, not even just expectant mothers, expectant fathers, grandparents, anybody. You don't even have to be expecting a baby. I hope you like my content anyway and the other videos that I put out there. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love it if you would. And if you press that bell, you'll be alerted for any future videos which I upload so you don't miss out on anything. And saying that, I will see you in my next video. Take care, bye. Oh, that was good.